proposal E2. Okay, so you've seen in the previous slides that some zones will suffer more if the program goes away than others, right? In zones 1 and 2, in the Southern California and the Northern California, there is almost 50% of milk covered by quota. And smaller producers are also tend to be there. So those two regions could be affected more. And a proposal that we were evaluating here is whether the dairy community would find it fair and acceptable to account for this fact by creating a sunset that is longer for those regions that are affected more severely from the QIP going away. So in this proposal, we have an 8-year sunset. It can be any duration. We are not particularly advocating for 8 years. We're just trying to illustrate the principle. So to illustrate the principle, the example here uses 8-year sunset, but done in such way that after 5 years, the quota payments stop for all quota holders in zones 3, 4, and 5. And if you're a quota holder in zone 1 and 2, then the payments continue for 3 more years until the formal sunset of the program. A couple of points worth emphasizing here. First, for the sake of clarity, we are proposing this without equalizing the RQAs, but certainly this is easily combined with equalizing the RQAs. Second, I think perhaps most insightful here is how long would it take, how much money would it take to fund this additional year for zone 1 and 2? It would take as low as 6 cents per hundredweight. So this is a fairly inexpensive way to address a situation if the dairy community finds it appropriate to address the situation in this way. So the assessments would drop from 37 cents per hundredweight down to 6 cents per hundredweight in the end of whenever the other zones cease to receive payments and the only zone 1 and 2 continue to have payments. This can be done through a referendum. You could just design the referendum ballot in such a way that the RQAs are made more negative at the end of 5 years or whenever the zones 3, 4, and 5 are to stop receiving any payments. Perhaps the only reason for legislature to get involved is to, again, like with any proposal, to ensure that there are no walking back once it's agreed, so there are no more future referenda that can be called upon, and also to make sure that perhaps after 5 years, there isn't a flood of quota leaving zones 3, 4, and 5 and moving into zone 1 and 2, so that at the end of 5 years, everybody's in zone 1 and 2 buys up to 100% of their shipments in quota. But even if they do, the assessments would increase only to about 12 cents per hundredweight for all grade A milk in the state. With this proposal explained, let's go back to the survey. You see the table again here. And what we are now asking you is, this does seem to be a different version of the survey. I don't recall this question 63. Okay, yeah, we did not have that question. So please skip question 63. We're asking you if this question is, if this approach is fair, is it easy to understand? Would you vote to support such a proposal? And then how many years, in your opinion, how many additional years should be approved for zones 1 and 2 for Chino and Petaluma regions? Your possible answers are none, 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more years.
Mark, can you go back up? I just want to see what that question looks like. It's not in reference to like circling a number on the chart?
No, it's asking on principle, offer your opinion on principle of longer sunsets for zone 1 and 2. The question does make sense. It's not that I don't like the question, it's just that we never agreed on it beforehand, and it's not in the written survey. So for the sake of consistency between paper copies and online.
I have no idea where that came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally, tell us, how can this proposal be made better, and other comments. So on principle, what do you think about it? Okay, one more sunset idea and then we'll open for final discussion.